China and Delhi. These were the three countries which invented coinage. 6th to 7th century BC, and that is almost 2,800 years back and so on. And Lydia later became part of Greece. So these were the three countries which invented coinage. Next. And all know that villages too, barter system was there right from the Vedic period. And cattle were used mostly for the medium of exchange. And there was one preference where they said was Vishnu Patam was worth 100 cows and so on. And then next stage came was the fixed metals of fixed weights were used as coins and so on. And this was evident from the Taxila excavation. When it was excavated, they found out the silver pieces of different weights and so on. So this was the next step and so on. Then coins came on. All of us know about the coins, didn't it? No, plastic money is taking over, but coinage was there. And then it was the Janapadas. And what were Janapadas? Kalinga, Kasi, Kosala, Magda, Shurasena. These were all more than 100 Janapadas were there, small kingdoms in different parts and so on. So one of the kingdom became very strong. Magadha started off as a Janapada, then it became very strong. Then he conquered most of the adjacent areas, then it became imperial power and so on. So the coinage was started first by the Janapadas. So in our part, Janapada was Asmaka Janapada. Asmaka Janapada, one of the 16 Mahajanapadas south of next time. So slowly barter system has given way to coinage. Next. And the first series of coins were punchmark coins. When we started, putting metal is there, then you put symbols and so on. And writing the name and of the whatever each came on from the 2nd, 3rd century BC and so on. So first series of coins were called punchmark because symbols were imprinted with punches on the coins. That's the name which was given to them and so on. Then making punchmark coins was very difficult because first Magadha coins had 5 symbols to be imprinted. It is a tedious job, isn't it? Then came the cast coins and so on, uninscribed cast coins and so on. Only 2nd, 3rd century BC, they started to put the name of the king and then kingdom, all that and so on. So inscribed coins with the name came only around 2nd, 3rd century BC. And earlier coins were punchmark and uninscribed. Next time. And this is the 600 BC map we take. There were 16 Mahajanapadas. And only one Asmaka or Asmaka was south of India. All of them were in the north of the country. And these are the coins of Asmaka. Asmaka Janapada capital was Audana, which is called Bodhana. Bodhana in Nizamabad was the capital of the Asmaka Janapada. And then go back. Yeah, it had an elephant symbol is there, tree is there, and other designs were there and so on. So in the beginning, they started to put these symbols and so on. So this is a punchmark coin. Punches were used to make these symbols and so on. And that Asmaka Janapada king's dynastic symbol was elephant. So elephant is there on every coin and so on. But you could see that this elephant is plain, this elephant has a dot, another has a trapezoid, another has some different symbol. So each king has its own mark and so on. So even in Asmaka Janapada coins, I could detect so many kings' coins were there which were separate and so on. So elephant symbol is there, Asmaka Janapada, and then other mark which will identify the coinage and so on. Next slide. And where do we find these coins and so on? Treasure troves, somebody is digging some place to build a house and so on. Then you will find and the excavations, of course, archaeologists, they do that and so on. And Vasu, they are, he knows about the excavations and all that. But mostly, we had that habit, whenever we cross Godavari, my mother would say, when you are crossing Godavari in the train, you drop those by saying into the Godavari. So these days, it has become big Narmada river and so on, Godavari, and other rivers and so on. There are professional people. In summer, when the river water goes down, they collect coins and so on. And some of them are yearly earning very good money and so on. But above temple collections and so on. And Tirupati temple, about 10-12 years back, they called me up. I said, every day, that income is said, 1 crore is the income of Tirupati temple today, 80,000 today, 60,000 people visited all that and so on. So they said, 40 tons of coins we have got in Tirupati treasure. We can't keep them anymore. Do something, which one to be kept, which one to be taken out and so on. So I went there and then we studied the coins and so on. I said, don't touch any coin which is before 1947. There were 3 lakh American coins and so on. None of them were before 1940. So none of them have got any historical significance at all. But if you have a 2000-year-old coin, it has got a historical significance and so on. I said, keep all the coins. Malaysian coins were there, 3 lakh devotees. So 46 countries' coins were there in Tirupati and so on. They said, remove all those coins of the foreign countries, of recent ones, and then keep the ones which were before, because they are going to be historically important and so on. So then 18 tons of coins they could remove and so on, the rest of them were there. So there were gold coins were there. And then I was asked to write about that gold coins in Gundi of Tirupati, Gundi. And this book has come out in 2012. And when Modi was visiting Tirupati temple, and he was presented with this book on gold coins in Sriwadi Gundi of Lord Sri Venkateshwara. And the second book was there, the silver and other base metal coins which were there in the Tirupati Gundi and so on. So that was the second book I wrote for TTD. And they tell you that how old was the temple and so on. Because you understand, you have got inscriptions all around the Tirupati temple. Tirupati temple, you walk around, just look at the stones and so on. You have got an inscription in there. Oldest inscription was there was a Pallava king, 630. So Pallava king 630 AD, he said that I am renovating this temple. It means that Tirupati temple was there before 630 and so on. But we go back to the coins. Tirupati TTD temple is more than 2000-year-old and so on. Those coins are there. Next slide. So